There is going to, oops, I don't want to do that. Let's see. This, and then hide all that. Okay, there we go. So welcome to this little presentation on the new manager. This handout should be available shortly for you all. There is one similar to it already in the support tab in mindplay.com. And if I could remind you all to mute yourselves, that way we won't have that background noise. But this handout should be everything you need to send to your schools as well. This was sent out to trainers. It's in the training folder. I can email it again here with you, and you guys can hand it out. It was also copied on the email link to this webinar. So you should have access to multiple ways to get help to your schools. We have had several calls today already from schools that are confused. So we understand that's going to be a learning curve for them. But here I'm going to give you everything you need to know in a nutshell, and then I'm going to go through the process of what you need to do. When you log in right now to Manager, this is your sign-in page that you're going to see. You need either your email address and password, which is easiest because that's only two things, your email address and password. But many teachers don't know if their email address was put in. Program managers don't know the email address that was put in for them. So we get some confusion there. I'll show you how to look that up in a minute. You can use your customer ID, which is your school ID number, the 10080 or whatever it is, as well as your username and password. However, many people don't know their usernames. Most new clients have a new username, but older clients do not know their username. So I'm going to show you how to find your username. But the worst case scenario, or the way to problematically jump over these issues, is down here at the bottom of the screen is a Legacy Manager link. Just click on that Legacy Manager link. You can go into Old Manager and continue there until you get more comfortable with New Manager. So right on this login page, there's a link at the bottom of this sign-in sheet that says Legacy Manager. Click on that. It's going to direct you to your Legacy account page. You can look up your login name, change your password there, find your email address, and proceed as normally. So let me go ahead and put this away, and I'm going to go ahead and show you what I'm talking about. So that handout, remember, is available to you through this support tab or in the email, and I'll send it to you again here when we're done with this session. So let's go in as we are a school starting up. I'm going to start as program manager. Remember, I'll switch to the teacher view in a moment, but starting off the school year, you're going to log in typically as you have before, mindplay.com. You're going to go to your regular number. I'm going to log in as program manager, and I'm immediately sent to this new login page. If you are confused, you don't know your email address, you don't know your username, go down to the bottom here and you can see this is the Legacy Manager link. So just go there and allow your schools to just continue in Old Manager. So they don't have to panic right off the start. They can learn New Manager at their own level of learning, and they can proceed without any issue. So let me go ahead and get in here. Now, when you log into Old Manager from that Legacy link, you are going to be directed immediately to the My Accounts page. Notice up here it says My Account. That's how you get to this as well. On this My Account page, you will see your login name. That login name was either set by the school or automatically provided by MindPlay. So that's where you can get that. I would advise your clients to write that down. That is their login name for the program manager or at whatever level they logged in. I am logged in as program manager. That is my program manager login. I can change my email address here and get myself a new password as well if needed. But I'm just going to note that for now. Now, if I am in a panic, I'm brand new to this school year, I don't want to learn New Manager, don't worry about it. Just click here in this green homepage link. You should know that from before, and you're automatically back at the homepage of your old Legacy Manager. And you just continue doing whatever it is you need to do that you've typically done. Now, we do want schools to start using New Manager to get more comfortable with it. It is fairly intuitive, but as with anything new, it is going to be, a learning curve. The benefit of New Manager is not only the new technology, but the ability to export reports multiple student reports in one print, as opposed to having to print off every single improvement report or every single student progress report one at a time. So really the reason for the new manager is because we have now some more flexibility with reports. But you will have access to this old legacy manager as long as you need it and as long as you feel comfortable. But we do want schools getting comfortable with that new manager. So I'm going to go ahead and now use this link to go back to new manager. So this will still be here for a while as well. It's going to direct me directly into my manager page. So I'm ready to go now. And really that's really quite as easy as it is. You're back in, you're in, you can do it as easily as possible. If you could mute yourself so that we're not getting background noise, that would be great. So there's a couple of things that you need to know right starting off on the new manager. This is the dashboard view. Up here in this orange, you can see as I'm clicking through these, this first navigation menu link is the dashboard page. That is your home page. At a program manager level, it gives you at your fingertips right in the center of this page most of the information you need in a quick view. Now, if you want to get into details about students, then you still need to drill down to the school, to the class, to the student. But from the program manager point of view, this is what you want to be looking at. You want to see immediately what your usage is for the last 30 days as a district. You want to look at first and last test over the last year for your current school. You want to look at the licensing that you have available. How many licenses are used up? How many are left? How many are in use currently? Just a quick snapshot on what is available at this immediate highest level view. Once I start going down to the middle section here, then I'm going to start drilling down into my school. I can drill into my class, and I can drill into my students. So it very much follows the same pattern that we did in the old manager, where it's this drill down technology. But at the program manager view, you have much more options than you would at a teacher view. You can see the teacher view here is only looking at their own class. At the school level, you're only looking at the classes within your school. And then here at the district level, you kind of look at this big, up in the sky view of everybody into one pile. Now, most of the things that you will be doing on a day-to-day basis are directly here in the middle of the screen. You notice how I drill down here and it shows me here in the middle of this breadcrumb, the middle of your screen is where most of the action is going to be noted. If I drill down to the class, it's going to tell me at what level I'm at. In the middle of this also is where you're going to start doing either actions or reporting at whatever level you want. Right now I am at a class level by student. I can click either one student or I can click all students, and now I can go ahead and start deleting them, licensing reset, data export, force an assessment, or pull the reports for one student or all students at any level. And I'll come back to this in a moment. At a district level, you'll notice that these actions, do I want one school or do I want all schools? And you'll be clicking here to the right. What is the report or the action that I want to take place? This is where my data export is. Those are those export files we had before, as well as individual reports for that particular, for district. So those are district level reporting. And then obviously if I went to school, I would do the same thing. So mostly what you need to get comfortable with is here in the center of your screen. What do I want? Do I want reports or do I want to perform an action? You click on it and you select whatever else it is that you want available to you at that time. Over here at the left-hand side in this navigation menu are things that you are not going to be doing regularly, but they are things that you're going to want to know about, particularly at that management level, at the highest level of the program manager. Clicking on the dashboard gets you back to that home page. Report queue is going to be available for teachers and schools and the district level. That's where you will retrieve reports that you have queued up. So slightly different in when you're going to be pulling up reports here from the middle, they are going to have to be queued up. And it's still going to be very fast, but it's not going to be in the drill down way that you're previously used to. And the reason for that is, remember, we are pulling multiple reports in real time for the data that the students have. So the problem with our old manager was that because we're pulling up reports in real time, you could only pull up one student at a time. And you could pull up many, but you had to print off one PDF, one PDF, one PDF. Now with this new queue system, you will be able to pull the entire class usage, progress, perform all those reports, and they'll be queued up, and you'll retrieve them over here from the report queue. And I'm going to do that for you here in a moment. Teachers are going to be some of your options to set up teachers, to add teachers, to delete teachers, to edit teachers. It's a teacher function. This is going to be available for the school administrator and the program manager. Do I want to add them? Do I want to edit them? Do I want to see what classes they're assigned to? Resources, this is not quite up to date. This is going to have the manuals in it here at the top. Right now it's got these videos, support videos in them. They still are good because they reference old manager, but they are old manager. We are currently working to update these to be to match new manager as well. But at the top, we're going to have the new manual. So it's going to the new manager manual is going to be a separate chapter. It's going to be a separate manual. So you will have the virtual reading coach, the teacher companion description. You're going to have your support sheets, and then you will have a chapter on. It'll be a manual in itself, that the new manager manual. So that will kind of go through all these steps as well. Action log has always existed, but now it's a little more on the forefront, and you'll be able to kind of see things that have happened in the system. We often get teachers say, somebody deleted my class, or somebody added a student, or somebody forced an assessment. Going into this user action log kind of lists out everything that's taken place in the management system. Now, if teachers are sharing a password and login, or if the program manager is sharing a password or login, then you're not going to know specifically who that program manager is that logged in. We do now have a way for the program manager to set themselves uniquely. They can rename themselves. They don't have to be called the program manager. They can rename themselves to whatever they want to, and then you can have a good idea of who's doing what within the system. This really is intended for MindPlay because we can kind of track things down, but we also want schools to know who's in their system, who's adding, deleting kids, and all that kind of stuff. Batch jobs is going to be where you pull up all those CSV file data files. Just read the screen. The screen's going to tell you what to do. You're going to show the batch jobs that you've asked for already. You're going to create new batch jobs. So over here at the right, you're going to see this is that Create Batch Jobs button. And here's where I can do my importing. I can import my CSV student file, my teacher file, my district. What's exciting now about this district upload is it will add schools and classes to Manager as well. So now's a good time to clean up your sites. You can use this to delete classes and add classes so that your school system can be, instead of doing it one at a time, you can now do it through this CSV file. Make sure you download this new file though, because it's different. This is new. This has not existed before. So this can help you add and delete at the same time, cleaning up your system. At the teacher level, it's the same one you had before. You can add teachers, email address, etc. The student management one is the other batch update one. It's not the simple one. It's now gotten a little more detailed about adding them to the class or to the teacher or to the demographics that they need, as well as assigning a license. So that will take some practice on your management people, but this really is something that should be done at the district level. They really need to know who is handling their student data, who is what's the demographic, what the teacher is. You're not going to know that. Your schools know who the new teacher is, what's the name of the new class going to be. So this is really something that you should help your schools become invested in learning, as opposed to having your trainer or you do it, because it's a lot of information that we don't have. It's really a district level information. Managed licenses is key for your district program manager, particularly now that we have schools buying at different intervals. They buy 30, last month, and next month they're going to buy 20, and then the next month after that they're going to buy 10. All of those are going to have different expiration dates. All those different dates are noted in the license that when it's purchased. We can name this license anything you want. By default, we name it by the date that it expires and obviously the title of that. But when you are allocating licenses, this is what the program manager will need to do. If you have a certain school that is absolutely going to need a certain number of licenses, those licenses must absolutely be allocated. This tells me I have 20 teacher dyslexia ones, so let's go to my MindPlay ones that are not expired. Let's go to these ones. I want to make sure MindPlay School gets at least 10 of these because my Title I monies from this school purchased 10 of them. Then I must allocate at least 10. That means they are at least guaranteed 10. If I don't allocate, then they will either get none if it's not borrowed, or they will get the ones to use the ones that are allowed district borrowing. Now, most districts like this district borrowing. However, it's a first come, first serve basis. So if you have this check marked here, then it's first come, first serve. This entire school could hog all of the licenses if all their kids log in at one time. So getting your schools to understand that the allocation of those licenses guarantee a certain number of seats per site, it's really important that you get that out there. And students can't even log in at all if you don't either have it set as borrowing or as allocated. So make sure you have those licenses either allocated or allow borrowing for whatever you've selected to provide in that those schools. Knowledge base is going to be a quick link. You're in your manager. You want to know, okay, what are they talking about usage? Just go to that knowledge base and type in your question. What is fidelity? And it'll pull up information, that frequently asked questions about that particular question that you might have had. So that's a really nice quick link right now within Manager. You don't have to go out and go to the MindPlay website. You can go quickly there. System requirements also, we tend to have, they're on the website, but if you, instead of people having to log out and log back in, they can click here and get that information. They can actually send a question to our tech support team. They're in the middle of this, they're saying, hey, I don't understand what this means, or, I need some help with this. They can simply email directly from this management system, and our support team will get back to them as soon as possible. And then finally, you can return to Legacy Manager. If you've spent your time, you're not comfortable with New Manager yet, just go back to Legacy Manager, for those quick things. Like I know this morning we had somebody that needed to force a test. They didn't want to go through New Manager and figure it out. Just go to Legacy Manager. Do it there, and then as time goes on, get more comfortable with this new management system. So let's go ahead and go into the reporting aspect of it, because I think that's really what a lot of people will be looking for once they get into Manager. I'm at the dashboard. Notice how I clicked up here. This dashboard is your home page. It gives you all the general information that you need at whatever level you're in. I'm in as Program Manager. That's the level of information I'm looking at. I'm going to log out here in a little bit and log in as a teacher so you can see kind of the difference of the layouts, but very, very similar. It's just drilled down at a different level. Let's go ahead and practice pulling reports at this time. So I'm going to go into MindPlay School. Now remember, this is my demo site, so it's not a real beautiful site, but it'll get us some good practice on it. I'm at the school level. I'm in MindPlay School. I want to see how this Bliss class is doing. Now, I could actually pull reports for every single person in this school, so you could do that as well. Just keep in mind, the greater the number of data you're pulling, the longer it's going to take to queue, but it still queues very, very fast. But I'm going to just go at the class level. I don't need to go into anything, too deep. I don't want all the students. I'm going to get, this guy and this girl and this kid here. Again, you can click everybody, or you can simply click the people that you're interested in getting. And I'm just going to do a couple of kids here. I think Isabella's the only one with really significant usage, and so I want to make sure I pull her. By the way, you're going to start seeing this triangle here, and when you hover over it, it says Isabella may be having trouble on the current lesson assignment. You would find that information on the progress report, find out what lesson she's on. Now we're still adjusting this. Right now it is set at 3 hours on a particular lesson. That is not a danger sign. That is, hey teacher, check this out, stand behind the student, see what's going on with the student. What it should be changed to in the next couple of weeks is 3 hours above their average time. Right now it is set at 3 hours of a single lesson. So you're going to see that trigger for kids that may not necessarily be in trouble. 3 hours is not a lot of time. Some kids need lots and lots of practice. So don't panic on that. We are changing it, but it really is a good idea for the teacher. Hey, I want to stand behind this kid the next time she's working. I want to see what's going on. So let me go ahead. These are the 3 students that I want to I'm sorry, is somebody asking a question? Okay, make sure you mute yourself because I'm getting feedback. I'm hearing myself repeated. Here, let me go ahead and there, I'm not sure who's not muted. Somebody needs to mute themselves. Okay, anyways, let's keep going. These are the 3 students that I want to export their reports for. I am in the class level. I've selected them. What do I want to do? Oh, I want to give everybody a license. So I could reset the license there. I want to delete this whole class. I want to transfer or promote. All of those are available through this site. And it's fairly easy. I mean, if you want to look at the transfer real quick, where do I want them to go? I want them to go into another class. I want them to, and you would do that. So very, very simple to do. Easier than the other system, I think. Same with promote. I want all these students promoted by 1 year. So go up 1. It's pretty easy to do. License reset, this used to be the class edit feature. It's right here, reset everybody. I want all these kids to get that MVRC license. I'm not going to go one at a time. I want to make sure that they all get that license, the new license, the one that's not going to expire till the end of the year. This is export students you're really not going to play around with. This is really something that MindPlay support does. This is for a student who is coming in or leaving to another district. You don't export students that are related within this particular school because it exports an HTML file. It's nothing that you're going to be comfortable seeing. It's just a bunch of coding. Data export, this is the one you're going to want for those CSV export files. So I want to look at RAPS data. I want the roster report. I want to look at my MVRC lesson report or the universal screening information. These are those CSV export files that aggregated scores that teachers, district particularly, can use to look at data specifically. Those are those Excel files, those CSV files that they want to do their own data analysis on. Force assessment is here as well, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull usage. So what for usage is, let's see something. Let's look at, I guess I could look at progress for each of these kids. I'm going to say go. If I want to adjust anything here, I could adjust it. I'm just going to leave it defaulted. Up here you see a pop-up, and it says your progress report has been queued. And so, if I were to go to the report queue, it may not be ready quite yet, but it should be ready fairly quickly. Up here at the top of the screen, you'll see this bell. See where I'm hovering over this bell at the top? That will tell you when your reports are ready. In this drop down here, it's going to tell you other notifications as well. So information, new management, new program changes, that will be up here as well. But it will pop up and let me know when I have some reports to pull as well. So there it is, one of them. You have one report ready to view. So I'm going to go ahead and go to my report queue. Remember, this only launches them. This means this navigation menu link is where you're going to retrieve them at. This is the one I just did today. You can see the date on that. It is completed. It would say in progress if it was in progress. These will stay available for 7 days and then they'll be deleted. Or if you're done with them, go ahead and delete them you know, if you're no longer going to be using them. So let me go ahead and open this one. This is the one that I selected for all of these students. And you can see that it is that the student progress report for each of these students. And I don't know how many of these kids have been using it, but you can see it's all here. When I go to the print, it will print them out. One student at a time. If you want to save it as a PDF, make sure you save it as a PDF, because that, and then you save it to wherever you're going to save it at. My understanding is every printer now has this ability. This printing feature will allow you to save as a PDF. You don't have to upload anything special. So you either print it from there or you go ahead and save it for you to retrieve it at a later time. Oops. So let me go ahead and cancel that. But really, that's as easy as it is. The reports will be listed here. You can do multiple students, multiple classes, multiple schools. So if you want to see every kid's improvement report for everybody in the district, you can certainly queue that up from the dashboard. If you're in as program manager, obviously, you can do that. But again, the more data you're pulling, the longer it'll take. But it's still fairly quickly. Our guys have done a pretty nice job of queuing it up I think they said every 5 minutes they're aggregating data. So it's going to be a little, you know, it'll be ready to go. Your timing may be off by about 5 or 10 minutes. So if you really want the latest up-to-date data, I would run this after school when kids are off. But for the most part, it will be up to date from when you pull that report. But again, if it's taking some time to pull it at a high level, then it's going to be off by, you know, maybe 1 or 2 students that didn't finish that test during that particular time, or they finished a different lesson at that particular time. But really, that's pretty much all there is to it. You know, just practice clicking around. Editing the school, editing the district, all of these little edit buttons are similar to what they were in the old manager. You know, what do I want to edit at the school level? I want to change who it's assigned to. I want to create a new teacher for this. Something you do need to be aware of for teachers now, and this was true before, an email address is absolutely required. And if that teacher has been added somewhere else, it's not going to let you add them here. And so what you need to do is search for that teacher, find out where that teacher email is, and delete them from one so that you can add them in another. The way you are going to do that search is up here in this search button. It's a nice search button. I'm going to do something like, let's see, what can I look up? Let's look up Lisa, what shows up. If I type in, it has anybody with the name L.I. in it. And if I'm looking for a teacher, you can see that Lisa Jones from 2017 MindPlay School is the teacher that's currently entered in the system. And I'd want to edit her out so that I can get rid of this email address. And by the way, look at this is a fake one I put in because my name is in somewhere else, and I happen to be Lisa Jones. You know, you do need to make sure that you enter it, delete this teacher, or edit the email address for the teacher. It can only be entered one in the entire system. So that's in the world. You can only have one person with that email address. Now, whatever passwords your teachers currently have, whatever passwords your students currently have are still usable. However, for any new student being entered, it must be reset to a minimum of 6 characters. And the password needs to have both numbers and letters. So all of those 1, 2, 3 things is not going to work out for you anymore, but you don't have to change anything right now. As you go in and edit your teachers or students, that's when those changes are going to have to take place. All the old passwords will still work, so you don't need to worry about that at this point, but you will be prompted to change those passwords if you are editing anything on that teacher or anything on that student to 6 characters minimum and at least 1 number and 1 letter in it. Also available in that edit, and let me go back to the class level. You're going to see at the bottom are some of these configurations. So this is that advanced tab that you saw in the old manager. Again, we don't need you to be touching any of this, and there's really no reason for anybody to get to know the details about this at this point. It really is unique to individual students. If you have a student who needs specific changes, then you can go into that. I rarely do this as a class, but there are teachers who don't want the kids kids having access to the avatars. They don't want kids having access to currency. They don't want, you know, kids seeing the leaderboard, the duration and the level, all that. So you definitely can change that. That's in the class edit or the student edit. You can do any of that. We don't encourage that really. Everything was done based on the default values of our research, of our experience with these students. So, you know, if a teacher is changing it, then we cannot predict with any certainty what that effect is going to have on the student. But the teacher knows best, so let the teacher decide who doesn't get to do the avatar or who doesn't get to see the leaderboard. That's certainly within their privilege. But for now, you don't need to go into that minutia when you're training. You know, when it comes up, then you can talk about it, but you don't need to do that right off. That at-risk notation is still here at the class level as well as at the student level. Right now I am at the class level, but it also is at the student level. This is at the class level, but also available at the student level. If you want to do a demo student, that's what you're going to be able to do here as well. So this is that, remember, this functions as the general and the advanced settings page. So for all of your edits that are in Old Manager, they're now on one page. This is the general settings, and then this is the advanced settings. So you can make sure that you are able to, you know, do those edits as needed. Everything is basically the same. It's just a different layout. So as with anything, change is going to take a little time, but you really should, you know, not panic too much. It's pretty intuitive, and it's got all the same features as the old version, just a little bit in different places. Let me see. Some of the basic things that you will need to do if you're starting up with a new school is at the program manager level, you're going to need to create a school. And so again, as I mentioned, here in the middle of the page is where your most important management tools will be. These are those tools that you will do more often than what these are over here at the side. So the first thing you want to do is create a school. So go ahead and add your school. This is where you can give your school administrator a unique username and enter their email address. That way, when they lose their password, this email can be clicked and they can find it immediately. So that's the benefit of putting in that email address. Once you've created a school, obviously you want to start creating classes. So you simply go over here and create a class. And again, you can assign the grade level. You can assign it if there's a teacher that already exists. You can continue to share it, or you can create a new teacher. And once you create the new teacher, that teacher will be assigned to this class as well. So very, very intuitive, very simple, same thing as it was before. It's simply a drill down process. Create a school, create a class. Now once I have my class, now I want to add a student. So I'm going to create a student. You know, student's first name, last name. Remember, the tracking number is optional. A license assignment, a student is not going to be able to get onto the program without assigning them a license. Password, and again, this is, since it's a new student, it's going to require 6 characters for me. If you know demographics, then go ahead and assign your demographics. The at-risk notation is still the at-risk notation. It's meant to be used only for students who would be panicked starting at a reading level other than first grade. And so if you know that student, the teacher knows that student is a significantly struggling student that would benefit from starting that universal screener at first grade, then go ahead and use that at-risk notation. But again, we do start below the student's independent reading grade, actual grade level, and it adapts fairly quickly. So that again, teachers really should be the ones to make this determination. It should not be happening from a training point of view or even the administrative point of view. It really is the teacher who knows the student. What is to their advantage for this particular special learning requirement notation. Going back to the dashboard. You know, I've created my teacher, my school, my class, my student, and I'm pretty much done. That's really about the basics that you need to know about the system. If you are working with the school and they are ready to add multiple students and multiple classes, be sure to use this batch job menu item here. This is where you will use the CSV file to upload multiple students, teachers, or the entire district. It'll take a little practice getting used to it, but it's really just get this in the correct format. Once it's in the correct format, then it's easy to use. You'll just be able to have your school put the student first name, last name, password, ID, login, and then just upload it. And it's very, very, very quick to do that as long as they use that the file. So make sure that they pull the sample that they need from there and use it, and it'll make uploading very, very easy. So with that, I'm going to stop the recording, and I can answer some questions at this